All right, here's my big video on how to do mosaic crochet with some tapestry method. So I'm going to tell you how to read a chart in this as well. So here is my chart. I have gray and white charts. Some people do blue and white, some do green and white. This is just so you can see what it looks like when it's done. I'm going to use a little cream for the background, orange, of course, for the pumpkin, and a little black for the features. This would be the tapestry part of the design. Now, you really only worry about two colors usually when you're not doing tapestry. You have an A color and a B color. So we could do this whole design, for example, with a black background and a green pumpkin. But gray is going to be the cream actually in this case. So I'm sorry, that's going to be a little confusing, I suppose. But in addition to paying attention to what row you're on, the A color or the B color, really what you're paying attention to are the boxes. Two boxes. You have an empty box and you have an X box. The empty box are single crochets. The X box are double crochets. That's it. That's all you have to learn in mosaic crochet, which means if we go up here to this row, for example, I'm using my B color in this row, which is going to be the cream. I'm going across, double crochet, double crochet, double crochet, double crochet. Oh my gosh, I came across some white. Does that mean I change yarns? No, you don't. That just means that you do single crochets here, obviously. You ignore the color. This means that next row, you could see those double crochets are going to drop down and cover it with the A color, or the B color, I should say. So this is like, again, just showing you what the design is going to look like when it's done. You're really paying attention to X's and empty boxes. Now, of course, we're going to screw this up because I'm doing tapestry in this video. So here's the high-tech method I'm using. I printed this out and I'm just using a piece of paper as a guide, but this is what I normally use. This is an app called Knit Companion. It is a free app. You could do a paid-for version if you want more bells and whistles, but you just upload the PDFs to a tablet or phone and you can use this yellow bar to mark what row you're on. I love this. This is what I normally use. So, all right, 39 stitches wide. I could, of course, repeat this if I wanted to make a repeating pattern, but this is just a single one off. And I have a little F here for foundation. Now, you know, your pattern starts with one. So however you want to do your foundation, 1 row, 2 rows, 4 rows. I'm doing a 2-row foundation, basically. I kind of leave it up to you, but I'm going to show you the most basic foundation. I mean, this is super, super basic. And I do have some other videos if you want to see some of this stuff slowed down. I'm just kind of trying to whip through this quickly here. I'm going to chain 39 stitches because that is my width of my project. If this was going to do a 3 repeat, it would be 127 stitches wide, right? So whatever you're going to do, then whatever you do is going to add 3 stitches, 1 for each of the border stitches on either side and 1 for this turn, or I should say going back. We're going to go back now the way we came into the second loop, and we're only going to go through that top part of that chain, the top loop of the chain for this foundation. We're just going to go back the way we came. We should have 39 stitches plus that first border stitch I did and the end border stitch. This is the most basic foundation you can do. 38, 39. Did I count right? Yay, I counted right. Now here's the end. So this is your end border stitch. You're going to put it in there and do a single crochet. And then you're going to hold it there for a second while you clip it. Boop. And then you're going to pull it through like that. All right, now here is our foundation. Like I said, there's lots of ways to do foundations. This is not the sexiest way. It's pretty basic, but it works, all right? Now, if we look on our chart here, we're now officially into the pattern now, row 1. And row 1 happens to be the same color as the background. And on the chart, it looks gray, but I'm using this flecked cream color. So this first stitch, that's kind of sitting off to the side, kind of half on the side, that is your border stitch. It doesn't count for the 39 or whatever your official pattern is between the 2 border stitches. So we're going to put it under both loops here and do a single crochet. And then we're going to do another single crochet through the same loop. That is our border stitch. That locks that knot tight. Now, mosaic crochet is single crochet goes in back loop only. All right, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. Back loop only, single crochet across. We're just doing chain or doing a single crochet all the way across for 39 stitches. And then when we get to the end, again, 38, 39, And now we're going to do our ending border stitch after that stitch there. Now I went under one loop in my last video. People freaked out. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'll go under both loops here. I'm just so it's consistent and you guys aren't confused. But yeah, however you want to do it, go under both loops or one loop and do a single crochet and then hang on to it for a second and give it a little clip. And then you're going to pull it through. All right. Now the reason you're doing back loop only, you'll see the front loops from the previous row now are left, and that front loop is what you're going to use for your double crochet. Single crochet is back loop only. Double crochets are going to go into that front loop when we get to that point, right? But it looks like we have now another row of single crochets all the way across. Now in our B color, which is orange. Now, yes, that row looks gray still. Again, I've colored the graph the way it's going to look in the end. So just paying attention to whether you're on A row or B row. Don't pay attention to the colors of the squares, just whether or not it's a blank square or a X square. So we're doing single crochets all the way across in our B color now, which is orange. Again, back loop only, all the way to the end. There we go. And ta-da, there's our next single crochet. All right. Now, some of that's going to be covered up, obviously. Or maybe all of it's going to be covered up in this case. All right, yes. So we have a whole row of double crochets now. So we're back to our A color, which is cream. Again, here's my border stitch. You've seen this enough times now. I think you know what you're doing with the border stitch. So again, we're just awkwardly. It's kind of hard to do this with a camera. I don't know how many of you guys have tried to shoot your own videos before, but they're actually really hard. I've gotten so much better compared to my first videos, but I'm still learning. So now, here is that front loop for the previous row. That's where your double crochet is going to go. So your double crochet goes into the row below the one you would typically be working for this single crochet, the one that matches your colors. So here we go. Here's your double crochet. There you go. Yarn over into that loop from the bottom and double crochet. You can do double crochets all the way across this particular row because that's all I have going on in that pattern. All right, here you go. Now it's going to feel very awkward at this point because you're just starting, but when you flip it over, you're going to see this. What's this? This gappy pocket ridge thing. That's actually really typical for mosaic crochet. And when you make a big blanket, it doesn't matter. But if it bothers you, I'm going to show you. Here's your first hack. I'm going to show you how to do an anchor for that. If you want to, anytime you have a really long run of double crochets, you can do an anchor. So now we're getting into our pumpkin color eventually, but we are now on color B. And it is, again, single crochets all the way across. Again, trust the pattern. You just trust the pattern. Now, I'm going to anchor every 5th stitch here. You could anchor every stitch. You could anchor every 3rd. I'm going to use every 5th stitch and show you how to do a quick anchor. Here we go. So back loop only. Here's our first stitch. Yep, there we go. Second stitch. Here's our 3rd. Here's our 4th. Now, 5th stitch, just do it normal, right? Just put it in that back loop. But now you're going to tilt it a little bit and beep. Oh, there's that little back ridge. You're going to go ahead and grab that loop off that back ridge there. Just the top loop. See? That's all you're doing. And just pull through normally and do your single crochet. You've just anchored it. Let's do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to grab that back loop off of that ridge, pull it through. Again, I'm just doing every 5th stitch, and I only do this with really long runs of double crochets. Otherwise, I don't mind the ridges, and it looks weird in the beginning, but once you have a whole blanket, it's fine. It looks fine. But if it bothers you, here's your option. Okay, so here we go. Here we are. See how that's anchored? Looks pretty decent, right? Okay. Now we're doing now we're just following the pattern, right? Again, we're going to have 10 stitches of double crochet, then we're going to have 19 single crochet, and we're going to have 10 stitches of double crochet just in our B color, our A color, which looks gray on the chart, but is of course the cream. That's what that's going to look like. See, very easy. And now next row, we're going basically the opposite. We're going to start off with some single crochets in our B color and then do double crochets and then 10 single crochets. There we go. See, it's coming together. That's a mosaic crochet, folks. And that's basically, if you're just doing 2 colors, that's all you'd be doing this whole time.